Today, my friends, is a really exciting topic. I know everyone would love to make their first $1 million, but most people don't really understand the real secret to how it happens. Now, you might think, Kris, I've been watching your channel for a while. I've been a subscriber, so you're probably going to tell me the strategy and game plan for making $1 million in real estate. And today you would be wrong. In fact, today, I'm not here to talk about the strategy of wealth. I make tons of videos on that. And if you come to my live events and get fully immersed with me for 4 days, you're going to walk away with $1 million game plan. In actually making your first $1 million, however, there is something that is way more important than strategy. You see, strategy is about the how. And today, I want to share with you the single most important strategy that will first of all determine whether you even make it to $1 million. And if you can make it to 10 million, you can make it to 100 million. Stay tuned.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
Years ago, I learned that the secret to actually creating an immense amount of wealth, something you need to have before you create it, is energy. In life, there's a couple different kinds of energy. There's good energy and there's bad energy. There's high vibrating energy and there's really low vibrating energy. It's like in that Winnie the Pooh cartoon, you've got Eeyore, and Eeyore always has a black cloud that's following him. And it might be you that we're talking about, but you know, it's the people that they're always talking about how things isn't going their way and they have bad days on a fairly frequent basis. And you know, they have friends that betray them and things don't happen the way that they want. And so they have all sorts of excuses and reasons for being negative. But they would never consider themselves a victim because it's not their fault, it's somebody else's fault. There are other versions of this where some of you blame yourself so deeply and you self-deprecate, which is not very different than self-defecating. And what we're doing is we're putting ourselves down and we're judging ourselves and we're comparing ourselves to others and saying that we're not good enough. Here's what I want you to understand. Low energy produces problems. Guess what high energy does? High energy solves them. You know, I want to break down the 3 most important things for you, how you really self-generate the most epic energy on the planet. I want to ask you, as you watch my videos, some of you are watching me, you're like, geez, that Kris Krohn, he's not very authentic. I mean, where does all that freaking energy come from? I'm going to tell you right now, I generate it. It doesn't come from food. Like today, so far in the day, I'm intermittent fasting. I haven't actually eaten. Think about how you feel after Thanksgiving, right? Energy comes from food. After Thanksgiving, how are you feeling? Dude, you want to take a nap, you're stuffed. You overload the food, and guess what? It doesn't give you energy. So then you're like, well, Kris, energy must come from sleep. Have you ever gotten like 8 square hours or 10 hours of sleep and woken up feeling like, I need like 5 more hours of sleep? Sleep might be a source of energy. Food might be a source of energy, but guess what? It's not the source of energy. The source of energy is choice. And you and I, we, through the power of choice, actually generate energy. And I want to give you 3 hacks today on how you can take your energy to the next level. Now, I've been practicing this stuff for years, but recently I came into Tony Robbins' ecosystem, and I really like the way that he frames it up. I think Tony has done an amazing job being 40 plus years in this industry, and he's done an amazing job hacking personal development to pieces on how you master change. So I'm privileged that he's one of 20 mentors in my world over the last 10 years that have had huge impact on me. Let me share with you the way that Tony Robbins frames this up. The first thing that he says with energy is that you've got to focus. You've got to be able to direct your focus on what you want. And the reason why is because what you focus on directs feelings. Now, feelings are really important when it comes to energy, because if I'm really feeling crappy about my life, or I'm focusing on a recent breakup or something bad that happened or something unfortunate, then all of a sudden, guess what kind of feelings accompany that? Anger, or maybe sadness, hopelessness, despair. And so literally what you focus on produces the feelings. Some of you have habituated your mind to think about things that don't serve you. You live in the past where you can commiserate over the crappy parts of your life, or you can get stuck in the future where you get stress and anxiety and fear of what may or may not actually happen, instead of being present in this moment. And so just practice it for just a moment. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And I want you to focus on one of your favorite life memories. Maybe it's a birthday, or maybe it was a time you were dancing with a loved one, or maybe it was making love, or maybe, I don't know what it was. Think about a memory where you just felt like you were at the top of your game and life felt right and it was like a perfect moment. And if you allow yourself to relive that, guess what comes up? Feelings. In fact, if you can really put yourself there in a powerful way, you can self-generate, even manufacture, and then magnify feelings that produce endorphins, actually align the chemistry in your body that gets you upright and feeling good and excited about life. You see, I'm in charge of what I feel. And one of the messages I give my 4 little kids every single day is I ask them this question. Because as a parent, there's only so many core values that we can transmit. So I ask my kids every day, who's in charge of your feelings? And they know that the response is they are. Because the moment something happens that they don't like, the moment they shift their focus onto a circumstance that's unfortunate, my brother hit me, my sister this, I want to quit piano. They're putting their focus on something that produces a really negative low energy. And in that space, we produce problems instead of solutions. If you need more solutions in your life, if you want to make more money, if you want to have happier relationships, if you want to make $1 million, guess what you need to practice? You need to habituate yourself into a state of high energy. And the first of 3 hacks in today's video is focus. Master what you focus on. If you ever start feeling crappy, say, whoa, what am I focusing on? And if what you're focusing on isn't good, if it doesn't serve you, then change your focus and you'll change your feelings. Let's say you wanted to feel a certain way. What would really serve me right now is joy. All you have to do is focus on what? Focus on joy. Focus on a joyful memory. Focus on what produces joy. Imagine yourself in your mind palace doing the thing that produces joy, and guess what it produces? Joy. So you can master your emotions. This is what I call emotional fitness, not just emotional intelligence. We're having a conversation about intelligence, but the difference between knowing something and doing something, that's what real wisdom is, and that's what mastery is. That's the fitness component as opposed to just the intellectual component. The second one that I want to give you today is language. Language that we use, the things that we think about, also produce, guess what? It's another way to tap into feelings. And we're talking about mastering those feelings if you want to master making $1 million. And I just want to pause for a second. Let me tangent. What the crap does this have to do with making $1 million, Kris Krohn? Please, can you connect the dots for me? Listen up, friend. What if I told you that how you felt before you became a millionaire would determine whether you ever became one? I remember being poor and remember making the decision for the first time, I'm going to be a millionaire. And I know you've had that too. There's a really good chance that you have had that experience just like me. And now what I'm telling you is stop waiting to be a millionaire to feel like one. The time to practice feeling like one is when? Today. And did you know that you can practice it every day? Did you know that you could actually, in meditation in the morning, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, put on some nice music, whatever gets you into a good, beautiful state, good energy, and that you can actually see yourself as a millionaire. See yourself doing the things you would do as a millionaire. See yourself traveling the way you would travel as a millionaire. See yourself living in the home that you would live in as a millionaire. See yourself driving the car that you would as a millionaire. And the more powerfully you can visualize that, you'll be able to manufacture the identical feelings, the identical chemistry as if you had those things. What I'm telling you is be a millionaire now. Be what you want to be now. Where can you be it if not in the real world? You can do it in your mind palace. And it's a discipline. It's something that you can practice. So one of the things that I want you to start doing is I want you to start watching your language. Look at the language that you are leveraging. And you'll notice that your language produces bad feelings. Like, for example, do you ever pause to make fun of somebody? When you make fun of somebody, you might get an initial chuckle out of it, and then you start thinking about it and feeling bad about maybe the way you treated that person. All of a sudden, that language is producing something, a byproduct that you don't want. And what I'm telling you is that emotional mastery, emotional fitness is more important than financial fitness. That sounds a little bit crazy. I want both of them, but guess what needs to come first? Feelings. Because people that practice feeling good about their life because they're mastering the language that they're using and because they're mastering the focus. These are individuals that can generate on a regular basis high energy. Now let's just say for a moment that you and I are best buddies. And let's say that you come and hang out with me for a week and you're here in my home and you're having breakfast with me and we're going to the gym together and you're following, you're apprenticing with me on some of my business meetings. Maybe I'm hanging out and doing something cool that you like to do. You get to live with me for a week and you get to say, you know what, I'm going to calculate what percentage of the time Kris Krohn is in a good energy. Because is it like just for these YouTube videos, or can he just do that for 4 days straight when he's doing his live events? And one of the things that you would observe is that I'm capable of staying in a really high energy 95% of the time. Now, I'm not perfect at it, but you could spend 16 hours with me in a single day at an event and you'd be like, dude, where does that freaking come from? And you don't eat till 1 o'clock in the afternoon? How do you generate that? Did you get a lot of sleep last night? And what you'd come to really recognize is that energy is a what? It's a choice. And why do I enjoy a higher energy? Before I share with you the third and most powerful of the three, as Tony would say, is I want you to understand this. When I'm in a good energy, I not only find solutions, but I create wealth. When I'm in a good energy, I get creative. I ignite that chakra of creation. When I'm in a good energy, I just like being me. You need to understand, there's a difference between achievement and fulfillment. Achievement is what have I accomplished and what have I created and what have I done. Fulfillment is how do you feel inside about yourself? Dude, there's a lot of people that are very, very successful and super unhappy. A lot of my friends are that way. One of my buddies, he's my age, he just retired. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And I went to go hang out with him recently and he's playing all day long with his kids. And I'm like, dude, do you work? He said, I work 1 hour a month and is the worst hour of my life. And I do it and I put up with it and then I'm back to play. And the reality is, listen, I could sit here and judge that lifestyle. That's not important. The important thing is he's doing what produces a feeling for him that ends up doing this. He's making more money now than he was before, and it's because good energy creates what you want in life, but more importantly, it produces a feeling of the byproduct of what we really want. Like you might say, Kris, I want to drive a Maserati. And I'd say, go be there in your mind palace. He says, well, it's not the same thing. Actually, it can be. Perception is reality. So close your eyes and experience what you want. Person that has the ability to be happy now instead of when they achieve this or when they have that or when they go there, that's a person that is already wealthy. This is my favorite song from One Republic called Preacher. And I love in that song, he's talking about his grandfather who was a preacher and he'd teach love and all these different things. He says that he was a million miles from $1 million, but you could never spend his wealth. And that's because the man, we assume, had learned to be happy. Now, here's the third and final thing that I want to share with you to wrap this up. Focus is powerful. Language is powerful. Physiology is the third one. And this is, again, something I've been practicing for the last decade. But when I met Tony last year, I love the way that he did. You go to one of his events, they're always jumping up and down and they're moving their body because you quickly learn that when you engage the body physically, what it does is it produces chemicals in your body that actually cause you to feel better. It produces these endorphins. And it activates you in a way where you become more present and you become more conscious. It takes energy to produce that, but what you're left with is way more energy. And so I want you to understand that if you're ever, my daughter walked in last night, she's like, Daddy, I want to quit piano, and if you tell me I can't, you can give me 1,000 chores and I'm still going to quit. That was the resolve of my 9-year-old. And she didn't understand what I was doing, but I took a bunch of Tic Tacs, I put them in her mouth, I had her stand up, and I said, 30 jumping jacks right now. And as she was doing 30 jumping jacks, I can get her to laugh like crazy if I talk about her hamster. It's big, fluffy, and wavy, and she laughs at its wavy butt. So I turned around, I started doing the dance, I started waving my butt and talking about Bella's wavy butt. I haven't even had the heart to tell her she thinks it's a girl. It's actually a boy. They didn't have girls that day for her birthday when we bought one. So all of a sudden she's doing jumping jacks, she starts laughing her pants off because what I was doing is I had to repeat positive language. I shifted her focus to something that makes her laugh, and I had her change her physiology. 1 minute later, we sat down and had a conversation at piano, and 5 minutes later, we found a strategy to shift our approach to learning piano, and she said, I'll give that a try, Dad, let's do that. Shifting the state, it is the secret. Every single day, before you ever become a millionaire, before you ever become a billionaire, right now, I got a plan in the next 7 years how I'm making $1 billion, and I am on my way. I declared that I was going to be a billionaire years ago, and I've been practicing in my mind palace living there. Now, what I'm sharing with you, my friends, is for me, one of the deepest and most important secrets of how you make $1 million. And in the next video, I'm going to do a part 2 on this because I want to share with you my top 3 rules on focus, language, and physiology. If you'll follow these 3 rules, more than knowing this, you'll be able to put it into action and help change your life. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Check it out. Next video, we're going to do part 2. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this. Super excited to share that with you. If you're not a subscriber, take care of that right now. And last thing I want to share is that if you want to know how to make your first million with the how-to strategy, real estate, I've got my book. I've produced a bunch of extras, and I'll get it to you for free. All you got to do is follow the link below. I'll get that put in the mail for you, where you can learn how to make your first $1 million, even if you're starting totally from scratch, from nothing. So get started on your path to real estate. Make sure you subscribe. Catch me on the next video where we can go deeper, part 2.